what's up, America? Welcome to 5 Stupid Questions with America's sweetheart, Eric Ryan. I'm America's sweetheart, Eric Ryan. This is question 4 with the sexy Psilocybin Siren Cesar Marin. Oh, that was a lot of S sounds. Today's question revolves around his 3 favorite books. You know, I've done some research about reading here in the United States. Did you know that the average American claims to read 12 books a year? That also means that the average American lies about how many books they read by a factor of 12. We are so full of shit. Here's how I know this. Have you spoken to an American lately? Do we sound like a people who reads 12 books a year? Also, I backed it up with statistics. Did you know, America, that in 2022, 788 million books were sold? Now, there's 300 million Americans. So this works out to a little bit more than 2 books per person. But we read 12. I suppose we just have 9 on the shelf that we're just dying to get to every year. We're liars. Anyway, please enjoy this literature-based episode of 5 Stupid Questions with America's sweetheart, Eric Ryan. I know I will. I'm in it. Cut. All right, let's talk about question number 4.
Yes, bring it.
Your 3 favorite books. Number 1, you're never going to believe this, but look who happens to own that. Yeah.
Oh, yes, please. Yes.
The Power of Now. Talk to me about The Power of Now, man.
The Power of Now gave me the ability to not live in the depressive state of the past, of thinking too much or living in, if I would have done this, if I could have done that, if I would have done this, if my mother would have been a man, she would have been my dad. Well, what? What are we even talking about? You know what I mean? And then that sense of living in the future, of that anxious of what's going to happen a week from now, what's going to happen a year from now, what's going to happen, 10 years from now. If you really learn to live in the now, this present moment, aware of everything that's around you, there's a microphone, there's a phone here, there's some lights here, there's like my dog, you know what I mean, my wife, my house, I'm breathing, my food, you know what I mean, the people around me. If we don't really realize that is where everything is, that the now, this moment is where the most beautiful things can happen, then we're asleep. And Eric, you've heard me say, today is the best day of my life. You know why? Because I'm living right now. I'm living right now. I'm not living in the past. I'm not living in the future. I'm living this moment and now. And that's something beautiful. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Edgar Tolle's accent. Doesn't matter. His message is so amazing. His messages are so profound that sometimes it's like, holy cow, he's right. Of course he is. That's what it's about. So definitely, and The Power of Now is funny because it came to me after this awakening. My wife had always said, you should read this book. You should read this book. And I was like, I'm living right now. What are you talking about? No, I was living everywhere else. And then I read this book and I was like, that's what it's about.
Even if you don't believe in this sort of because it is sort of new agey and stuff, but you have to admit that the past and the future are hallucinations. They're figments of your imagination. They don't exist. The only thing that is real, right, they're in your head, is right now. And that's fundamentally true and inarguable. So then where do you go from there, Yeah.
What do? Do you live right now or do you continue to live in the past?
Yeah.
Do you continue to, if I would have done this, if I would have done it's nothing. Just memories. And the future is just dreams. Don't exist. It don't exist. So definitely The Power of Now is an amazing, amazing book. Context the world we live in the sense of we're all chasing wealth, right? Some type of wealth, and we have the ability now to create almost really autonomous robots that can do this for us, so that we can really have the true wealth, which is time. Time is priceless.
I think it was interesting in terms of so The Power of Now in this almanac, I think, are both sort of self-helpy in a way.
Yeah.
But this is a much more pragmatic look at it, where he's like, listen, you want to be happy and have freedom. You need to make money. Here are practical ways to make money. He says, wealthy people don't rent time for money, which is what most people do. You sell an hour of your day for X amount of dollars. Whether you recognize it or not. What it really needs to be is asset building and passive income, because then you make money when you sleep. That's a better way to live, because then you get a little bit of freedom. If you're just selling your 9 to 5 hours, it's very hard to get rich. Therefore, it's hard to get freedom. And I know what he's saying money doesn't buy happiness, but certain things that money can get you can lead to a happier life. So it's a very pragmatic look at self.
Yeah, we were so programmed that, go to work at 9, work for 8 hours, leave at 5, get your check, and that's it. And there's just so many other ways now to really, really create wealth and have income generating revenues that it's we live in a great time.
We do. And I think the problem is, like, we're slow to catch up. I think it's a little bit like turning around, Titanic. The standard American education system was built to produce factory workers because for so long, this is what we needed. People that showed up, clocked in, clocked out, did the shit, made some money, went home. That's not the reality anymore. But what school teaches you, I think, is rote memorization is good. Conformity toward the norm is good. But these things don't make you super wealthy.
No.
So we need to start thinking, in the world is moving so fast, technologically speaking, that we have to catch up to these new realities. And he talks about AI and all this other shit. You just have to do it.
You have to do it. You have to. I mean, look, when you look at the fact that there's kids that are like 19 years old, who are creating wealth, like real wealth, like crazy ass wealth without going to college. And it was because they sort of, and a lot of them say, if I would have gone to college, like 4 years wasted my life.
I know.
And I'm doing something good. I'm doing, I'm creating some wealth. I'm doing, wonderful things with what I'm doing. Why then, why not?
There's a chick on OnlyFans that makes something like 10 million a month selling bathwater. I mean, listen, whatever you got to do. That's whatever better than a 4-year degree and making 60 grand, isn't it?
Talk about passive income.
Being naked in an apartment. God bless America.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Exactly. And I don't even want to know or need to know what you're going to do with the water. I don't.
I'll send you some. You listen. You send me the recipe for rice pudding. I'll send you some bathwater. I think that's a fair trade, isn't it?
There you go.
All right. Here's a third book. This is another one. I have one of his books, although I couldn't find it. I'm not sure which one it is. I forget. But man,
Dr. Joe Dispenza, what a brilliant mind. Everything that you want, you can create. It's there. It's in the quantum field. It exists. And it was funny because someone made a great point. I was like, well, I want to do this course, but I don't want to promote it yet because it doesn't exist. And they're like, what do you mean it doesn't exist? Have you thought about it? Yeah, then it exists. It exists there. You just have to make it reality. Right? So things exist. It's up to us to make them reality. What we do to make them reality. It's all about the actions we take. And if there's something this book definitely taught me, that the biggest or best remedy and medicine to doubt and to fear is action. That's it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Get things done. But that's hard, that you have to break that habit. And those are habits we have.
He says this one thing, like sometimes it's hard to hear, but you need to. He said, happiness is the result of bad habits that make up your personality. And that's like 3 things that are hard. Like you're unhappy because of bad habits. And by the way, those bad habits make up a lot of your personality.
Up a lot of your personality.
Oh, fuck. You're probably right.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks because you want to separate those. You want to go like, my bad habits aren't my personality. They probably are.
They probably are.
And it's causing your unhappiness and probably the unhappiness of those around you.
And sometimes bad habits are lack of what Eckhart Tolle talks about, the power of now, right? In that sense of, look, when cannabis was really overtaking my life, right? When it was just like, okay, let's go, whatever, let's get high. Until I realized that I have the power to right now say, not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now. Then that's powerful. That's really powerful. And it's a habit, and you have to break those habits. And you're right. Did it make me happy? Yeah, I guess, but it wasn't really making me happy at the end of the day, right? So it's a really true point.
Well, let me tell you, I don't want to interrupt, but what a perfect segue into what I assume will be my next favorite book. But you know anything about this one?
Look at that.
Look at
Late life elixirs. That's exactly what it's done. I found my elixirs, and my elixirs were not alcohol or prescription medicines. They were things that the earth has given us. And I'm putting together this wonderful ebook called Later Life Elixirs, Unlocking the Power of Microdosing for Fulfillment Tomorrow, because that's what it did for me. That's what it did for me, Eric. Microdosing gave me that sense that, today is amazing, but tomorrow is going to be even better. And there's a miracle around every corner. And as long as I'm authentic, and as long as I'm empathetic, and as long as I'm happy, I could have a better life. And it's really geared towards people over 50, because we do go through a lot of different challenges that we don't do when we're young, from our cognitive skills declining, just because you could be doing Sudoku and word puzzles every day. It's still going to happen. It might not happen as fast as someone who's not, but it's still going to happen, right? We have on age set depression because, right, I'm 56, Bobby, who's 54, just died, or Betty, who's my same age, that just diagnosed her with cancer. So it's like you got all this. How much time is left? I know there's not 50, so it's like this on stage set of like, oh, take a deep breath, take a deep breath. The fact that our kids are getting older, and maybe they don't call as much as we want to, or maybe they're not coming over as dinner as much. How do we deal with that? How we grapple that? How we realize that, you know what, our kids are there. There are jigs. There's the jigsaw puzzle, but it's not our jigsaw puzzle. It's their jigsaw puzzle. So they have to try to sort of figure it out. And then the fact that, look, we're going to doctors where doctors are telling us, we don't know what you have, but take all these pills, take all these things. So I tell people, you know what, maybe try and see if something that nature has given us can make a difference. I'm not saying it's going to cure you, but see what difference it can make. And like I tell people, look, microdosing is not about what you feel. People ask me, well, what should I feel? What should I be feeling when I microdose? It's like, you shouldn't be feeling anything. Microdosing is about what you do, what you're going to do, because it's going to open up your mind, it's going to open up your consciousness. And now what are you going to do? How are you going to act? How are you going to behave? How are you going to deal with your habits? How are you going to deal with your challenges? How are you going to deal with the things you need to get done? So it's sort of, it's been fun. It's been fun putting it together, because it's not just a microdosing guide. It's really looking at my generation and what really afflicts us, and what worries us, and what has us, in this rut of, 10 more years and I'll retire, and hopefully, or maybe I'll win the lottery. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like these bullshit, stories that we invent ourselves. And it's
looking to the future for salvation, right?
Exactly. I hope this book will teach people that living in the now can make for a better future.